Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Fire Talk with Chief Mark McCluskey of the Murfreesboro Fire Rescue Department. Chief McCluskey, I'm excited to be able to talk with you about all the wonderful things the men and women of the Murfreesboro Fire Departments do each and every day.
Thank you, Larry. It's good to be here.
Now, first of all, we will be exploring the calls for service for the month of September. We'll talk about the deployment to East Tennessee, where some of our staff members went to help with the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, as well as our community outreach for the month of September. But Chief McCluskey, let's get started with the numbers from September. If we can pull up those. The calls for service for the month of September, we had 1,855 calls. Is that a high number of calls or just
It's about
average?
average, down a little bit from last month, but it's about average what we have each month, right around the 2,000 call range that we have each month. So
Sure. So the number of fire calls?
yeah, we had 21 fire calls this month, and that's structures, vehicles, wildland fire, and cooking fires, which like outside grills and stuff like that.
And I do recall one major fire we had at a residential.
We did. We had one fire this month. It was a major fire over on Howell Avenue, which is off the Church Street area out that way. Call come in. It was already heavy smoke and flames visible. Our teams got there and made a very aggressive attack, put the fire out quick, but it was a lot of damage done to that house.
Understand one person was inside, but they were able to get out before.
That is correct. There was a person inside that was able to get out, and also a pet was left behind, was able to get it out also.
And understand the fire marshal's office is currently investigating.
That is correct. And I'm not sure if they have pinpointed what exactly caused that, but I think they're leading towards mulch outside of the house.
Wow. And again, you mentioned that our crew quickly attacked that fire. Just go through who the personnel that we had on.
Yeah,
scene.
we had we had several engines there and ladder companies. We had ladder 1, 2, and 4. Had a couple of rescues there, rescue 1 and 4, and also engine 3 and 2. And we have 2 battalion chiefs on shift, both respond to that, and also safety officers too. Yeah, several people on a fire this size. You always want plenty of help, just because of crews, it takes quite a bit of energy and wears them out real quick, so we don't have fresh men there and women to swap out our crews.
And I remember that day was pretty hot, too.
It was a hot day. It was pretty warm that day.
Sure.
So
Let's move on. Our second category, overpressure, rupture, explosion, overheat. We had 2 of those calls for service.
yeah, there's a lot that can fall into that category. This month we had what we would call major gas leaks. It was main gas lines cut in half during construction. Both of those, well, actually not both of them, but one of them was on Medical Center Parkway during that construction, and also on Old Fort Parkway during that construction.
Sure. Let's start with the one on Medical Center Parkway. Okay. It happened, I think, on September 12th. Workers, construction workers in that area were working and accidentally ruptured a line.
Yes, that down Medical Center has a main line that runs through there. They ruptured that line. Of course, it's high pressure. The natural gas will naturally stay low to the ground, so we had to evacuate a few buildings. A lot of them were sheltered in place. Had to shut the traffic down, which that was a major thing on Medical Center Parkway. But was able to get Atmos on the scene, and they were able to utilize shut-off valves in different areas and got it shut off pretty quick before they repaired it.
Sort of a scary scene. When I arrived on there, you saw fumes or
yes,
shooting out of the ground, and I'm just imagining as a passerby seeing that, they thought it could be a possible explosion or something.
That is correct. When the gas is under pressure, it's a liquid form, so when it's coming out, it looks like a liquid and it's vaporizing quick, making a steam-looking type cloud. You can smell it, and plus the sound it makes coming out. It almost sounds like a jet engine sometimes, if they got enough pressure in behind them.
We had some of the fire crews to go business to business right in that immediate area.
That is correct.
Checking air quality.
Why
is that so important?
Just to make sure there's no gas settled in the building, because the fumes are looking, or the gas, which is the fumes, is looking for the ignition source, and it could be something as simple as turning on a light switch. So just want to make sure that the quality of air was good and no fumes in each business.
Okay. And ladder 4, rescue 4, both battalion chiefs and safety 1 and 2 responded to that scene and assisted with that fire.
That is correct. You know, in that type of situation, you need the manpower to get around to the buildings and shutting the street down and just running the scene there.
Sure. The second fire on September 25th, that one was on, I think, Old Fort Parkway, 1940 Old Fort Parkway.
Basically the same thing. Had to hit a major line, had to do some evacuation, shelter in place until at most got on scene, was able to utilize the leak and shut it off.
And that one, I guess, wasn't quite significant. There was no immediate danger from what the battalion chief told us, and they did not have to evacuate any of the surrounding businesses.
Yes, it was more in less populated area, you know, not as heavy as in businesses and type.
And it also caused traffic problems.
Correct. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think what was the old frontage road between Market and Mall Circle Drive had to be shut down for a while.
That is correct. Of course, anybody that's familiar with Murfreesboro knows Old Fort and Medical Center is always busy.
Right. And just talk about the crew members that responded to that particular fire.
Yeah, that was the ones that responded that day were Engine 3 and Ladder 4 and Rescue 1, and both battalion chiefs and safety officers responded to that scene also.
Sure. And so hazardous condition calls with no fire, we had 20 of those last month. Just, go through what type of calls for services.
A hazardous condition call, gas leaks, which is a different type of gas leak, maybe in a residential, little small gas leak, they smell it. Power lines down, bomb removal, just toxic and radiation conditions, and chemical spills. And sometimes these sound bad, but a lot of times we'll get called. It may just be some kind of cleaning agent. Somebody spills in the house and it's smelling, and after they spill, they don't know what to do as far as getting it up, and just stuff like that. Now, of course, the bomb removal, we do get called for bomb threats sometimes. We assist in that with THP brings in their bomb squad, and we have in the past have found them, but most of the time it's something different.
Sure. Service calls, 105 of those.
Yeah, that's just animal rescue is one of them on there. Smoke odor and removal. The assistant police officer, in water problems and stuff like that. We have several different calls that come in. People don't know what to do, and so we're going to offer our service. Sure. It's kind of like when you dial 911, if it's not a police matter, we get the rest of the calls, and so we do respond and help our citizens out with whatever we can.
We always talk about firefighters rescuing cats in trees and ducks in drains, but this time it was a cat in a drain, a sewage drain. Talk about that call.
We had some, I think it was over on Northwest Broad Street. We had ladder 4 go over. It had some kittens. Someone called in. They were down in the drain, could hear them. And they was actually about 10 feet down, kind of in a maze. And they were able to go down and rescue them and bring them out. So we still do that.
And the picture we're showing right now shows one of the firefighters with the kitten.
Yeah, a lot of our guys, they have pets themselves, so they have a compassion for it. I've actually had to have my cat Peanut Butter got out of a tree before myself.
Okay. And I tell you what, the good thing is there was a citizen that was watching, standing by there, and they were able to take the cat and take it home to care for it.
That is correct.
So that's a good ending to that particular story.
Yes.
And I don't think it's actually on here, but we'll go through the rest of these calls first. But good intention calls, 531 of those. Yeah,
that's where maybe somebody thought they saw a fire or called in. They had good intention of calling. We get there and it's a wrong location or no incident found. And maybe a controlled burn where somebody, they just see the smoke coming up from the back of a house and it's somebody maybe, maybe with outdoor grill or something. Just so those, we have several of those calls, and I tell you, we're starting to see more too of calls which would fall in this category. The cell phones have that impact. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but if your phone feels like it's been in a car wreck, dials 911. Some people are using that. We get those calls. from those phones. And also in the some of these cars, if they do have an impact, sometimes I have seen where they hit a pretty hard bump or something, and it sets that impact off and says this car's been in a collision. That would fall under that, that category too.
False alarms and false calls, 163 of those last month.
Yes, that sounds like a lot, but it is, but it's a lot better than what it used to be. False alarms, that's anybody that has an alarm at their house accidentally sets it off. Sometimes steam sets them off, or just whatever. There's a lot of things that set them off. Your businesses, they're required to have these alarms, and they have different reasons they get set off. Employees maybe hit the wrong button, it sets them off. And once we get that call, we go check it out. We're just kind of liable to do that because they did call us and saying something was wrong, even though it's not. So,
sure. And again, we just appreciate the men and women of the Murfreesboro Fire Rescue Department, every day coming to work, going on these various calls, and as you said, 1,855, that's kind of average for a month, and I know sometimes they go way more than that. So it's not on the list, but we do want to talk about the deployment. Some of your staff members went to East Tennessee to help with the aftermath of Hurricane Helene last week.
That is correct. They were sent out, and they also teamed up with Laverne Fire Department. Actually had some from Murfreesboro Police Department went. Now they didn't ride together on this, but in the county fire department, they all deployed together, most of them, to Irving, Tennessee. That's where they had the flash floods in their town there in the industrial area. That's the part of the city you might have seen on the news that's catching a lot of headlines, the piping company there.
Right, exactly.
It was in that area right there. And they had, I know we sent one of our battalion chiefs down, Wesley Slager went down. He had a captain with him and a couple of more that went down. They spent about 4 days down there doing recovery work.
Right, and as you see in the photos that we're showing right now, complete devastation.
Complete. 2 or 3 of these guys have been on several deployments, and I had 2 that's got several years of doing this. Said it's the worst thing they've ever seen.
Wow.
And they've seen a lot of different stuff, but this was pretty devastating to them. And I could tell in their emotions talking about it that it was pretty devastating to them.
Right. And, we do want to send our prayers, our thoughts to the victims of that devastating flooding, and just wish everyone well, and those who survived that they may recover quickly, after this horrible devastation. And if you don't mind, just give the list of your staff members that went to their.
Okay, we had, like I said, I mentioned a battalion chief Wesley Slager went, Captain Jeremy Spivey, engineers John Fisher and Chad Wisniewski, and Patrick Welch was one of the firefighters that went. Once they got there, they met up with TEMA. They made Battalion Chief Slager as a strike force team leader. Had some more people assigned to them, and each day they went out. We also took our side-by-side with us. That was something that's really needed to get through the areas. Used cadaver dogs and just basically looking for people, that was swept up in these piles. And, some of the situations they was talking about how it was, it's like it would look like dry sand or dirt, and you'd step on it and go waist deep in mud and stuff. So it was really hard work, and devastated to see all that and trying to work in those conditions too.
So on a lighter note, Chief, our Fire Marshal's office, we have the men and women in that department that will go out and do community events.
Exactly.
Back in September, City of Murfreesboro held their annual health fair, and we had a booth out there. Talk about just some of the things that the men and women of the Fire Marshal's office do.
Yeah, the Fire Marshal's office, when you hear Fire Marshal's office, you think of code enforcement, the investigation of fires, but they do a whole lot more than that. They're in our schools every day. They go out and do a lot of PR work, which that's what this was at this event. It was our health fair here at the city. They set up our stuff, and during these events like that, when we set up our booth, we're giving information out about fire safety and just what we're about. What just to give out tips for fire safety. Always got something to give, a rubber duck or something.
Right. And the kids love the little fire hats.
The kids love it, yeah, they do.
And look, you're going to laugh at this one, but we're going to get Michael to show the picture of me when I took the picture in the cutout.
Yeah, the cutout, that's new. It's pretty neat. It's animated fireman, and you can put your face in it, and it's really cute. Kids love it, and some adults.
Yeah, exactly. Also, they participated in the Touch a Truck event, the Rutherford County Traffic Safety Task Force, which is made up of different agencies within Rutherford County. They held this big Touch a Truck out at World Outreach Church. Exactly. And we had an apparatus out there, and you could just see from the photos, you see the kids there at the trucks and things like that. Just loved it.
They do. It's over my years of seeing kids, just talk about, I love fire trucks, and other trucks. But when they see a real truck, it's so big it scares them to death. But this is a real neat event. Not only fire trucks, but there's other. I think electric department had their trucks. Garbage trucks, dump trucks, all kinds of trucks. And it's a real good event for the kids to really see these trucks up close. And so our fire marshal division participated in that, took a fire truck. So, it's another thing that they do. So.
Right, and it's not just fun, it's also, as you mentioned earlier, educating people about fire prevention. That's our number one goal.
Exactly, that's our goal.
And also understand you got a few congratulations you want to give to a couple of promotions in September.
We had a couple of promotions in September. You've already heard me mention Wesley Slager. He was just promoted to battalion chief and had been doing it for right at a month, and we deploy him off. So, but he's been a captain for several years. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He was a part of our team that got deployed, and he moved into position, and just like I said, he stepped up down in East Tennessee and provided them what they needed. But yeah, we're proud of Wesley, glad to work with him, and he's really good at what he does. We're excited about having him as a battalion chief. And one other promotion we made is Ben Honeycutt. He was promoted to captain. Ben's been with us, I think, over 20 years now. Been a driver for a pretty good while. And he, as a matter of fact, to tell you something interesting about Ben, when I first made captain inspector, his dad was one of my bosses. He was the fire marshal at the time. So I've been knowing Ben a long time. I was glad to see when he come to work here, and I'm glad to see him. It was actually kind of an honor to get to promote Ben, because we've been together and been friends for years.
Yeah, and just to let the other men and women know who've received promotions and just pat on the backs, we're not forgetting about you. Since we started this show talking about things in September, these are the ones that were promoted in September. So moving forward,
yes,
we will share.
We will. We got lots of stuff coming up, that we can be sharing each month. We got new recruits in our recruit class right now, and just it's always something going on. We'll have more calls to talk about next month, but that's all. We're always on the move, never closing.
Exactly. We also want to welcome Dana J. Smith. She's the Assistant PIO for Public Safety, housed out of the Fire Administration building.
Correct. So Dana joined us this month. Works with public safety, and she's more or less assigned to the fire side, which take care of overseeing that, and the police side. So we're glad to have her. Looking forward to getting with her and getting our feet on the ground, see what we want to do and stuff. So glad to have her.
Right, increasing our social media presence, the new website, trying to get some of those internal pages, going. So
it's a position that you gotta, just not anybody can step in and do it. And so we're glad to have her, so to get our social media, because that's where it's at nowadays with the younger crowd. It's no longer in the newspaper, so it's on social media. So it's a position that we needed, and glad to have it.
And you're not gonna make us do a TikTok, because I can't be doing all those TikTok challenges every day now.
Never know.
Well, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Fire Talk with Chief Mark McCluskey. We hope that you found our discussions enlightening and informative.
Yes.
Catch us next time for more engaging conversations right here on City TV. And don't forget, you can also watch Fire Talk on the City of Murfreesboro YouTube channel, as well as the city and the fire department's social media platforms. I'm Larry Flowers, and on behalf of Chief Mark McCluskey and producer Michael Nevels, who's behind the scene, and the entire Fire Talk family, we thank you for watching and have a great day, everybody. And we'll see you next time
month.
on
Fire Talk.
Fire
with the
Talk.
Chief.